Talon number 9, written by James Tynion IV, art by Graham Nolan. So last issue technically was Birds of Prey number 21, where they just fought for a while, and then Talon was going to kill the Talon in that book, and then thought, no, I can't do that, I'm no killer. And then the Talon in that book named Strix had a different idea. So we get that recap page saying all that stuff that's going to happen there. And it turns out that Strix's idea was that because of stuff going on in the Birds of Prey book, there was another woman's body here that was being experimented on. So Strix just takes her costume off, puts it on this woman's body, and tells Calvin to use the little melty juice goo stuff that he got from the Grandmaster on her because she's dead. And that should be enough to hopefully fool them. So at that point, he's like, okay, here's the thing. Strix, I know I can trust you. I see it in your eyes. But, like, I am not a good person anymore. And she's confused. Like, what are you saying like that? And he just says, like, look, you need to keep fighting the good fight. I'm not sure I can. Just do what you got to do. And she seems grateful, seems happy because she doesn't speak. And then he walks off and says, like, all right, now let's see if this is going to work. So he delivers the body back to the Grandmaster. He seems to go for it. He's like, yeah, all right, good job, you did it. So anyway, here's the thing. That was your little test. Now we're sending you out to take care of Bane and Sebastian Clark, and he explains the whole thing of, like, they're on Santa Prisca, it's this prison island, blah, blah, blah. And Calvin basically says, like, you and I both know that it is going to be impossible to do this. Like, it's Bane, and I am at best a C-list character here. And he's like, well, you better try very hard, or else something's going to happen to your lovely Casey and her daughter. And he's like, all right, here's the thing. I'll do it, but I have one request. And we see Casey is still being tortured by the butcher, and he's trying to get out information from her. And Calvin comes in and says, hey, Grandmaster said I could have 2 minutes alone with her. Get out. And he's just like, fine, whatever. So he comes up, and she's just amazed that he's alive. And Calvin's like, yeah, all right, I'm not really alive, but more on that later. Point being is, your daughter's okay. She's fine. She's being brainwashed, but she's okay. So that's a problem, though, because they likely will only need one of you to get access to all the Securitas stuff. So your time is probably running short, but I'm working on it. I'm doing my best. I just needed to see you. And then he gives her a big old smooch and says, remember everything I taught you. Goodbye. And he walks out. It turns out during the smooch, he passed over like a lockpick or something in the tongue. So yeah, that's happening. So then we see him being airdropped over Santa Prisca. He activates his parachute to get the attention of the automatic turrets there, and then he releases the parachute so that they'll only fire at the parachute, and he's able to get in unscathed. A bunch of Bane's men all start spreading out. Calvin grabs one of them, gasses him, and takes his clothes so they can blend in. And as he's walking around the island, he sees a bunch of different experiments being done by Bane's men. We see, I mean, a lot of these were in a backstory that was in Detective Comics number 19, I believe. It's just a guy with like a big brain, and his name's Professor, and a guy who's very muscly, and his name is Brute. It's just the same as it ever was. But a group of soldiers see Calvin peering into the lab, and they're like, hey, you're off duty. Come on, like, get with us, or else you're going to be the next guinea pig. So they all march into Bane's room, and he's like, hey, so you let a guy get onto our island, despite all this high-tech stuff, all these turrets and whatnot, that you vouched for, and now he's running around on an island, am I right? And the soldier's like, yes, Mr. Bane, but I take full responsibility. And he's like, yeah, you do. And he smashes the guy's head against the wall, just completely crushes it, and starts stomping on his body. And then Sebastian Clark walks in, and he's like, is that really necessary? Is that everything what you're doing? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. You want in on this? Is this something you want? And he's like, no, just saying. So Bane orders his soldiers, including, little does he know, Calvin, to go find the body and to take Clark back to his room first. So they're all leading Clark back to his room, and Calvin puts some tranquilizers into the guards' necks, and then he reveals himself. He's like, "Hello, Sebastian. Bet you didn't expect to see me." And he's like, "No, yeah, that's actually a shock." So then we cut back to Casey real quick, who uses her lockpick to get out of her shackles. She removes one of her teeth, which apparently has a broad span Morse signal networking thing, and she just clicks it and it starts sending out a signal. Cut to the other side of the world on a beach where Anya and Joey, remember these guys from like issue 2? They all of a sudden feel this buzzing in their head and they're like, Casey's in trouble, we gotta go. So they're automatically up and on the case. Cut back to Santa Prisca, and basically it's just a single page of Calvin saying like, "You ruined my life and now I'm gonna kill you." And Sebastian's like, "You're not gonna kill me, you're not a killer." And he's like, "Oh, a lot has changed, Sebastian. Dying and coming back changes a man." And he's like, "Fair enough, but you're also not gonna kill me because of this." And he motions behind him, and it turns out one of Bane's men named Wolf Spider, who's this dude who has augmented limbs, is there to rip Calvin apart. And that's that. So, not a bad issue. I will say they decided, Graham Nolan as the artist decided to give Calvin, instead of just like the rough 5 o'clock shadow he's been having in all of his comics, they gave him a full-on like soul patch, and I hate it so much. I cannot describe, like, it changes the character intrinsically, and I just hate the way he looks. So that's that, I guess. But regardless, it's an okay-ish. It just kind of feels like, okay, we had our Birds of Prey crossover because we kind of needed to pump both of these books up a little bit, and this is hoping that we can get a little bit of crossover there. But as soon as we got past the first like 3 pages, we were done with that and we were never looking back. So I think Birds of Prey was benefiting from it more than Talon was. And then the rest of the stuff, yeah, Bane, I don't know much of Bane's cadre, I guess, like his little group of people, but it's okay. It's not a bad supporting cast, but I do think that it is going to benefit from when we get back to it just being a showdown with Bane. So overall, I'll give this one like I'll give it just a flat 7. It's fine. It's not a standout book right now, but I do still enjoy the character arcs and how everything's moving. It's one long character arc, and I'm enjoying that.